Hey guys, it's your boy Richie Mariotti, and today we're coming back with a special. Um, we're gonna NCAA tournament just because it's March Madness. I'm just gonna show you a bunch of different stuff about it for you that all of you that are interested. Here's the bracket so far and who's moved on and who's still in it and who's out. So we're just going to review a little bit and talk about some of the upsets, some of the badness, and just, yeah. So the biggest upset that I saw, well, you can't really see it, but in the bottom right, here, I'll click on this one. Middle Tennessee is in the second round as a 15 seed. Now, if you follow, here we go. As you follow, look at Middle Tennessee, 15 seed, beat number 2 seed Michigan State, 90-81. That was incredible. 15 seed over 2 seed. I always root for the underdogs. Like, I always hope they win. Usually it doesn't happen though, but that time it did, so I'm very happy. This is one of the tournaments with the most upsets. So then another upset, we had Hawaii beat California, 13 beat a 4, 77-66. I got to watch a little bit of this game, and Hawaii was just playing very well, moving the ball good, hitting shots, and yeah, I think a lot of these higher seeds can get a long way in this tournament. I'm trying to find it. Another upset was number 11 seed Northern Iowa over number 6 seed Texas off of an insane half-court buzzer beater. Northern Iowa, insane, with like 3 seconds left. They inbounded the ball, they got it to half court, chucked it up, and made a 3-point buzzer beater from half court. It was Paul Jesperson, as you can see on the right hand side. That was insane, man. I was watching that game live too. Another upset that many people were also surprised about was 12-seeded Yale beating 5-seeded Baylor. So a lot of people thought Baylor could make it far, as along with Michigan State, as I mentioned before. People had Michigan State in the Final Four, Baylor in the Elite Eight, and they got eliminated in the first round. That's why it's called March Madness. You never know what to expect. See, I always believe in the underdog. I always hope, but like a lot of times it doesn't work. But this tournament, man, if you pick the underdogs, you're set. Now, I believe there was another upset. I mean, Gonzaga, 11-seeded Gonzaga beat Seton Hall by 16. That wasn't really an upset. I think Gonzaga was actually favored by a few points, even as an 11 seed. I don't know why, but they were. But yeah, they beat them by 16. Still an upper seed though, so I'm going to consider that an upset. And we also had Gonzaga, 11-seeded, defeat 3-seeded Utah. This was in the round of 32. This was insane. They just dominated. Like, the Pac-12's been struggling in the tournament, man. Very much struggling. Gonzaga dominated that game, let me tell you. Oh, yeah, we did have a few other upsets. Now, I'm going to show you this game, even though Florida Gulf Coast could not pull it off to make them be the first 16 seed. The first 16 seed to beat a number 1 seed. They couldn't pull it off, but they came relatively close. They only lost by 16 as like a 25-point underdog. So they did beat the spread. And at halftime, Florida Gulf Coast was only down by 1 point against one rate. They gave North Carolina a scare. Like, I was really hoping they could pull it off. It was 41-40 at the half. They just didn't have enough to keep up with not Florida, what am I saying? North Carolina. Another upset we had was Arkansas Little Rock beating Purdue, a 12 seed beating a 5. It's like the second 12 seed this year to beat a 5 seed. And this is just like, it was an insane game, double overtime, Little Rock getting it done. Josh Hagen's got 31 points for the Trojans of Little Rock. It was insane, man, let me tell you. Just insanity. And so today, we do have a few, I don't know if I forgot any upsets. If I did, I'm sorry. Oh, yeah, one more. Stephen F. Austin, a 14 seed, beating a 3rd seed West Virginia by 14, but handily beating them. Thomas Walkup, 33 points. Insane, man. That was just, I watched that game too. I got a chance to see that. Now, today, I'm just going to make predictions for today's game. Now, for today's games that weren't already really, played yesterday. We got Hawaii and Maryland today. Well, I really hope Hawaii can pull it off, and I'm going to go with Hawaii to beat 5th seed Maryland. If you look at what they did in the first round against 4-seeded Cal, pretty much handily beating them by 11 points. Cal's a pretty good basketball team, but I didn't think Cal was going to really make a run, but they are a solid basketball team. Hawaii coming in at 28-5. I really think I have confidence in Hawaii to pull off a close win. I really do. Now, we have currently Iowa and Villanova is already on, as you can see. Now, I didn't want to really see the video. Now, Villanova's handily beating them at the half, pretty much dominating, 54-29, up by 25. So I think Villanova's just going to hold on. Hope Iowa won't get so upset, but I don't think it's going to happen. Now, this one, the winner to go on to play Duke between St. Joe's coming in at 28-7 against number 1 seeded Oregon coming in at 29-6. Now, personally, I don't think Oregon deserves the number 1 seed. I don't. I think they're the weakest number 1 seed. They're a solid basketball team, but they're the weakest number 1 seed in this tournament. St. Joe's coming in 8 seed, coming off a controversial win against Cincinnati. When Cincinnati had the ball with like a few seconds, they got a dunk off, but right before the ball went in, the clock expired. So St. Joe's came off, hold off Cincinnati to win that game. So I honestly think St. Joe's. I'm just going with upsets. I'm going with what I believe, what I hope. I think St. Joe's is going to pull off the upset against number 1 Oregon. Now, here, Northern Iowa and Texas A&M. Northern Iowa is 23-12, not the best record in the tournament, but they played very good last night, or 2 nights ago, sorry. Very good against 6-seeded Texas to hold them off by a half-court buzzer beater 3. Insane game. On the other hand, we got Texas A&M coming in at 27-8. Now, with this one, you see, I really think Northern Iowa is going to pull it off. As good as Texas A&M has been playing, they've been playing very good lately. But I watched Texas A&M play at my team, Arizona State. It was on ESPN. I know this was like 2-3 months ago, towards the middle of the season. But man, listen. The Arizona State Sun Devils, my team is not even in the tournament, 2 games below 500, destroyed A&M. I mean, destroyed. We had them. We were winning by like 25 at the half. We ended up winning by like 15. So they made a little bit of a comeback, but they got dominated by Arizona State. For that sake, I think they can be beaten by weaker teams. They weren't cocky at Arizona State. They played horrible. I think that if they don't take weaker teams seriously, like Northern Iowa, I'll respect they're a good team, but, since they're higher seeded, no one really pays attention as much. I think they're going to go in and beat Texas A&M. Now, for the winner of this game, VCU and Oklahoma, I honestly think Buddy Hield and Oklahoma are just too much for VCU to hold off. Sorry to all you VCU fans, but you're not beating Oklahoma, in my opinion. So it'll be Oklahoma and Northern Iowa. And we got Middle Tennessee and Syracuse. Now, 15 seed Middle Tennessee should have been higher ranked, coming at 25-9. Syracuse 20-13. I got the underdogs, Middle Tennessee, pulling this one out. Seeing the way they beat Michigan State, Michigan State never led the entire game. They beat them by 9 points. I think Middle Tennessee's gonna pull it out and go to Sweet 16 against Gonzaga. Now these two are already saw. So we got 4 more games left, guys. Wisconsin and Xavier. Wisconsin coming in at 21-12. Kind of a rough season, but they got through it. 7 seed. 2 seed Xavier, 28-5. Now with this, I don't know. I just don't think Xavier's gonna win because they came from a weaker conference in the Big East. I do not think they're gonna be able to beat Wisconsin, even though Wisconsin did struggle slightly this season. I just think that Wisconsin's gonna pull this one out simply because they play against better teams. They know how to handle that. Xavier hasn't really played that. Granted, they've played a few good teams, and not that many. They're not used to this environment. They haven't been here often, if I'm correct. I think Wisconsin pulls that one out. Now, this one interests me because Notre Dame 22-11, Stephen F. Austin 28-5, 14 seed against a 6 seed. Now, personally, I'm a Notre Dame fan. Notre Dame's my second favorite college basketball team behind Arizona State, so I'm gonna pick Notre Dame as the 6th seed. But let me tell you, Stephen F. Austin is one great team, man. As a 14 seed, this team's been great for a few years now. I think it's gonna be really hard for Notre Dame, especially the way these teams have played their last games. Notre Dame struggled against Michigan. They beat them by 7 points, but they were down by like 12 at the half or something like that. Stephen F. Austin dominated West Virginia, beat them by 14, man. I honestly think Stephen F. Austin, if they do beat Notre Dame, I'm not going to be surprised. But for the sake of me being a Notre Dame fan, I'm picking Notre Dame. And if Stephen F. Austin does win that game, I believe they can go. I will root for them, and I believe that they will go pretty far. Oh, sorry for that notification. Now, that was actually our last game because these top 2 were already finished yesterday. So this is just what I think about March Madness. I think it's pretty cool. Just giving you a few predictions. Now, I'm not going to predict all the games, but who I think is going to win it all, no one's going to agree with me. No, I know nobody's going to agree with me. But I think Middle Tennessee, a 15 seed, is going to win it all. This is the year that 15 seed wins it all. I think either Middle Tennessee, I think they're going to win it all. So that's my prediction. So nobody agrees with me. Probably no one does. But thanks for watching this video, guys. Make sure to like, comment, rate, subscribe, and